Hello, my name is Oscar. I study at the Pan American University of Puerto in the Faculty of Education and Humanities, School of Modern Languages. In today's video, I will give a brief explanation and reflection on rhetorical functions. And the first thing that we should talk about is rhetoric in general. So, rhetoric is usually perceived or defined as a persuasive way of speaking or writing, but it actually holds many details and aspects to it. That would be a very simplified definition of rhetoric, but it basically boils down to eloquence, and eloquence is the art of choosing the right words to achieve a certain communicational purpose. All right. So depending on the context and the situation and the purpose of for which you are speaking or writing, rhetoric is the art of choosing the right words or the best words to suit that purpose. And that's when the known rhetorical functions come into play. So what are the rhetorical functions? They are different ways to use rhetoric to achieve certain communicational goals. So, for example, some of the best known rhetorical functions are narration, description, exposition, and persuasion. So, those are some examples of rhetorical functions. Let's go over a few of them and try to understand it better. For example, narration. Narration is a specific way to write or speak in which you are telling a story. And this is very helpful in creating empathy, for example, with an audience. If you're talking if you're talking in front of a certain audience, using narration, telling a certain story can be a good way to create empathy with them and with you, between the audience and yourself. Actually, a very eloquent person knows that it's necessary to use different rhetorical functions in one same speech or in within the same text, because rhetorical functions can guide the emotion and the impact of the words on the reader to achieve whatever it is that you're trying to achieve with that communication. So let's look at exposition, for example. Exposition is it's necessary. It's very necessary to explain difficult concepts. All right. So using exposition, you can deliver explanations on complex subjects or concepts to an audience, so then you could have a conversation or reflect on the subject, and you could guarantee that your audience will be able to understand you. And or let's see about one of the most popular rhetorical functions, persuasion. Persuasion is very has been very crucial from the beginning of our human history. Speaking eloquently is often often seen as similar to speaking persuasively. And but why is this important? Let's say, for example, that you are trying to infuse courage in troops that are going to embark on a difficult mission. Using a speech constructed with narration, description, exposition, and persuasion could be the best way to infuse that courage. You could open up with a story, for example, to create the empathy. Then use the description to explain what the mission is going to be, what the objectives are. And finally, you can use persuasion to create, to stir up that emotion and achieve the communication of the courage that you want to infuse in those troops. Just as an example, but we see this all the time in political speech or political debates. For example, what about the speech of Winston Churchill during World War II? Winston Churchill gave a speech that we could say changed history, and that's applying the rhetorical functions. So we see that this knowledge, the use of our language, our communication skills, can and has impacted on history and the way our current society has evolved. And why? Because that speech from Winston Churchill was so powerful that it just infused courage within the people, within the military, to to fight, to fight for the world, basically during World War II. So I think that's a reflection on the importance and the characteristics of rhetorical functions. And I hope you enjoyed this brief video, and see you on the next one. Thank you.